today, and I don't know if he's done it yet since I emailed him again this morning. So check for that. If it requires you to upload something, I had to put that on there because people that do the taping and during the quiz, they're going to have to upload that quiz. So you guys just go ahead and upload the proof form because I have proof that you attended. So that's all you need to do. So, can I have any other announcements that you can remember? Okay, I'll talk to you later when he's done. So don't be in a hurry to leave. Hey, Jill, is that on him now?
Yes.
Okay.
So, like you said, I'm Bradley Cook.
You're going to say Cooper, weren't you?
Now you've got me wanting to say it. So, from Genesis Health Clubs, what I'm going to be talking about is our 5 components of fitness. But first, I want to know how many of you guys are actually in a fitness program right now? Raise a hand. We got a couple in the crowd? Okay, cool. Now, how many of you guys have tried a fitness program and stopped for some reason or another? Raise your hands. So, what we want to do is we want to talk about the 5 components. These 5 components are equally important and absolutely necessary to get you the results that you're looking for. One without the other, you aren't going to see the results that you're looking for. And just like we already talked about, is if you aren't seeing the results, then at that point then, what happens? You lose motivation and you quit, right? Nobody wants to go and spend hours and hours of their time each week. We're all busy people. Nobody wants to spend that kind of time going to a gym and get nothing out of it. So at that point, what we want to do is we want to put the 5 components together, which is going to be your cardiovascular fitness, your progressive resistance training, your proper nutrition, your proper supplementation, and then your professional assistance. And that's where we're going to help you out with all 5 of those. So what we're going to talk about first is going to be your cardiovascular fitness. Okay. This here is going to deal with the most vital organs in our bodies, which is the heart. Scientists and fitness experts tell us that a healthy heart has to be exercised through aerobic activity. Now, a lot of people think that you need hours and hours and hours of cardio to get to where you want to be, which just isn't the case. So what we teach on is the FIT principle, which is your frequency, your intensity, your time, and then the type. Okay. So first is going to be the frequency, which is just 2 to 3 times per week. It's all that you really need to see some benefits. Now, of course, if you're training for a marathon, a triathlon, something like that, of course we need more than that. But just for general fitness, 2 to 3 times a week, you're going to see some great benefit from that. Okay. Next is going to be our intensity. Now, the intensity is all determined by what we do with every new member that comes in, which is the cardiovascular testing. It's a VO2 max test. It's called the Bruce treadmill test that we put together with the Kansas Heart Hospital. And this is going to help to determine your maximum heart rate. Okay. Now, there are other ways to find out your maximum heart rate, but this one here is the one that's going to be personalized just for you. So every individual is different, and this is what's going to help you to determine what your maximum heart rate is. The next one is going to be time. Now, once again, you don't need hours and hours of cardio. All that you really need is 20 to 30 minutes, those 2 to 3 times per week. So all that we want to do is get our heart rates elevated to a level that's challenging for those 20 to 30 minutes. So that brings us to the type then. What type do we need, right? And type is anything that you want to do that increases that heart rate. So it could be anything from a treadmill, a row machine, a EFX stepper, or taking group fitness classes. Heck, if you want to, you can jump rope or do jumping jacks for 20 minutes if that's what you want to do to get that heart rate elevated to that level that's challenging. Okay. Now, with the cardiovascular, this is where you're going to increase your energy level, which is going to help you to push you through your entire workout in the weight room. Okay. Now, there's 3 types of cardiovascular that we talk about. Number 1 is going to be your fat burning stage. Okay. This is where you're going to burn the maximum amount of fat. Number 2 is going to be your cardiorespiratory stage. This here is where you're going to be increasing the strength of your heart and your lungs. Number 3 is then going to be your anaerobic stage. Anaerobic stage is where you're going to increase your energy level. Now, the only thing with the cardio or with the anaerobic stage is that if you get there and you stay there for too long, what happens is you actually start to burn muscle, because the richest form of energy is going to be muscle. So at that point, once you get too high and you stay there for too long, that's whenever you're going to really start to burn your muscle, which is what we don't want to do. So what we do is we use what's called the HIIT method, high intensity interval training. You've probably all heard about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get you into that anaerobic stage, but then bring that heart rate back down into the fat burning or the cardiorespiratory stage. So it's kind of the equivalent of sprinting a block, then jogging too. Now, if you've ever seen a marathon runner versus a sprinter, you can see the difference in getting into that anaerobic stage and staying there for too long with the marathon runner and the body type of a sprinter. With a marathon runner, have you all seen one? And most of them are what? Very thin, right? Very thin, not a whole lot of muscle on them. Whereas then you look at a sprinter, look at Usain Bolt, you know? You look at that guy and I mean, it's just amazing to see all of the muscle on him, right? And that's the difference between those two different types of workouts, is shown in those two body types right there. Okay. So the second thing that we talk about then is going to be your progressive resistance training. Okay. Now, resistance training is anything that you do that puts resistance on your muscles. So it could be anything from body weight exercises, so just doing a body squat, jumping jacks, anything like that is going to be a body weight exercise, push-ups, tricep dips on the chair, different things like that. Or lifting weights. We also use a lot of TRX straps, or we'll use just bands, so resistance bands to go with it. This is all going to help to build the muscle in our bodies. So now the biggest thing is whenever you start a resistance program, is to stay consistent with it. Consistency is the key to seeing the muscle growth on it. And then also then in this is where we're going to increase our basal metabolic rate. That's the rate at which you burn calories naturally. For every pound of muscle that you have on your body, you can burn up to between 60 and 90 calories per day to sustain that muscle. So just think about it. If you put 5 more pounds of muscle onto you, that could be up to 450 more calories that you're burning naturally just staying at home or doing whatever it is that you do naturally throughout the day. Okay. This is also, you can burn calories for up to 72 hours after your workout, which is huge. You can't do that with cardiovascular. Once you're done on a treadmill, you're pretty much done burning the calories. Whereas after you're done working out, your body has to repair itself. The muscles have been torn, they have to repair themselves. So for up to 72 hours after your workout, you could still be burning calories. This is also where you're going to strengthen your joints, your tendons, your ligaments, and create bone density. If you're a female that has had a child, the bone density is extremely important to you because you start to lose that quicker than us males. So with the resistance training, that's where we put more of an emphasis on it. So I told you that all that you really need for cardio is 2 to 3 times per week for 20 to 30 minutes. On this here, we say between 3 and 4 times a week for 30 to 45 minutes. So put more time in the weight room, and you're going to see a sustained weight loss versus just a quick and easy weight loss, and then it's easier to come back. The third thing that we talk about then is going to be your proper nutrition. Now, Jeannie and I were just talking earlier. Statistics say that 80% of your results are coming from the kitchen. She says, I don't see where that comes from, and there aren't any studies stating that that is fact. But what it is saying is that nutrition is a huge part of staying healthy. You know, if you're wanting to lose weight, it's difficult to do it by going and working out, then hitting a drive-through on the way home, right? Yeah. I've had clients in the past that I was working with that by the time that they got home, they had hit 2 drive-throughs. You know, they grabbed something to eat at one and ice cream at another, right? And it's just like, okay, well, it's difficult to see results whenever you're adding that many calories after you're done with your workout. So, biggest thing is watching what you eat. So what we do is, all that we do is we want to watch calories in versus calories out. Okay? Now, we naturally burn a certain amount of calories every single day, just doing our natural routines. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're only taking in that amount of calories, whether it's 1,600, 2,000 calories, whatever it is that our bodies naturally burn, we want to just take in that amount. That way, whenever we're coming in and working out, we're creating a deficiency. That's what's going to help us to lose weight. Now, on the flip side of that, if we want to gain weight, then what do we need to do? We need to create a surplus. So then, once again, we're going to find out how many calories our bodies naturally burn, and then also how many calories we're burning during our workout, and then eating more than that. Okay? Now, not too many of us are on that type of a diet, but if you are, we can help you out with that as well. So the other thing that we teach about is just a pound of fat. Do you all know how many calories are in a pound of fat? 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. Okay? So if you're wanting to lose 10 pounds of fat, how many calories do we got to create a deficiency of? 35,000. Don't be shy. Come on, speak up. So 35,000 calories, right? So now we got to figure out how quickly do you want to lose those 10 pounds of fat. Now we got to determine how much of a deficiency we have to create every single week to get there. If you want to break it down, we break it down to daily. Or we'll break it down to just the days that you work out. Okay? So we'll help you with not only the workouts, but also your nutrition as well. Okay? Now the fourth thing that we talk about is then the proper nutrition, or proper supplementation. Now, how many of you guys are taking any kind of supplements right now? What types of supplements are you guys taking now? Okay. What else? Multivitamin.
Oh, I didn't know what kind of supplements we were talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the major thing is we teach on anything that you put in your body that isn't food is going to be a supplement. You know. So a lot of people, whenever I say supplements, they want to think of fat burners, pre-workouts, heck, steroids, you know, those types of things. But that's not what we talk about. What we're going to talk about is multivitamins. We're going to be talking about fish oils and protein. Okay? So the multivitamin is going to give you the vitamins, nutrients, and minerals that your body is burning while you're doing your exercise. Now, most multivitamins are going to give you right about 9,000 calories worth of vitamins, nutrients, and minerals with 0 calorie intake. And that's exactly what we want. So we don't want to add extra calories into our bodies, but we still need all of those nutrients. Okay. The second one is then going to be the fish oil. A fish oil is going to help to promote a healthy heart. It's going to help to promote fat loss. And it's going to help with skin, nails, hair, and so we're gonna preach to take those as well. Okay. The third one then is going to be the protein. Now, protein is going to help us to build muscle and repair the muscle. Number one, so that we aren't as sore the next day, which makes us want to come back. You know, if we're too sore, that's an excuse for us to just say, well, I'm too sore, I'm going to go tomorrow. Then tomorrow becomes, I'm still sore, right? Next thing you know, you've taken a week off. That's not what we want to do. So the protein is going to help to rebuild that muscle quicker so that we aren't as sore. And number two, what it's going to do is build that muscle so that we start to burn calories more, just like we talked about earlier, is raising that basal metabolic rate. Okay. Now, the only other thing that I do suggest is going to be a BCAA, a branched chain amino acid. This here is going to help to promote fat loss in more of the stubborn areas, which is the core and the thighs. And what it's going to do is help to give us a natural energy so that we aren't using caffeine to get that energy. We aren't getting in a pre-workout, which is usually just a bunch of junk and empty calories that we don't need. And it's going to help us to be able to push through our entire workout so that we aren't tired at the end of it. And it'll also help us to stay focused throughout the entire workout so that we use correct form throughout the whole thing. And then the fifth thing that we talk about is going to be your professional assistance. Now, with the professional assistance, the number one thing that I talk about is your personal trainers. Personal trainers are going to be a huge part of that. They're going to help to create a program so that you know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. It's also going to help with accountability, making sure that you do show up to the club, because if you're anything like me, if I have an appointment, I make sure that I show up for it. Now, if I don't, it makes it easier for me to say, forget it, I'm going to skip the gym today, right? Versus knowing that somebody is there waiting for me. It creates that accountability. And then also, like I said, they're going to help to create that program so that I know what to do and that I know that I'm doing it safely, correctly, with the proper form, the proper technique, and without injuring myself. The second thing on the professional assistance is going to be our group X. All of our group exercises, that's where you're going to really see great benefit for the same reasons as a personal trainer, but without the extra cost on it. Okay. With the group exercise, that's where you're going to have somebody telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Creates that motivation for you, and it creates that sense of camaraderie. Because most of the time, the same people go to the same classes, right? So then you develop those relationships. So if I'm going to class and I'm expecting you to be there, then you're expecting me to be there, and I feel bad if I miss it, right? So at that point, it creates that accountability. And it helps to motivate you, because a lot of times, if you're competitive like me and you've got somebody next to you that's working harder, it makes me work that much harder on it. So having that extra assistance is going to help you to stay with your workouts and help you to see those results quicker. Then also the last one is going to be our fitness advisors. The fitness advisors are there to help you along the way. They're there to push you whenever you need that extra push. They're there to help you, to spot you if you don't have a workout partner. They're there to motivate you and be your cheerleader, because I know that all of us need that at times. We need that extra person that's just telling you, hey, keep going. I know it's getting hard, but keep pushing it, you know. Or they're there to call you whenever they haven't seen you in the gym and say, hey, Matt, where have you been, right? Why haven't you been in for the last couple of weeks? And kind of keep you motivated and hold you accountable as well there. So with all of that being said, those are the 5 components of fitness that we really preach on. So now, do any of you guys have any questions or anything like that? I've left about 10 minutes for questions. Any questions or anything that Nothing?
I guess I'll be the first one to ask,
Yeah,
what
go
kind of
ahead.
price are you looking at here?
Well, the great thing about it is for you guys, it's absolutely free. So here in July, we're going to be giving you all of July absolutely free. After that, we've got different options for you. It's right about $1.50 a day, so right about $45 a month.
And location?
We've got 2 locations here in town. We've got one right behind Gateway Mall on O Street there. And then we've got one at 5300 Old Cheney. It's the old Lincoln Racket Club. We just purchased that back in December.
Okay.
I taught there for 20 years.
Did you really? So we've got those two locations here in town. Any other questions?
I missed some good questions.
Yeah. No.
What kind of classes do you have?
Oh, we've got everything from yoga to cycling to boot camp. We've got All-American Training, which is, like Jeannie pointed out, similar to Orange Theory. So if you've ever heard of that, yep. We've got that as well. And then we've just got Strength and Toning, which is just a half-hour class. We've got core classes, which are just going to focus on your core. Those are a half-hour class. I love those because I get bored doing core, and having somebody else push me along the way helps me to make sure that I do it.
Plus 30-minute classes are great, because I can do 30 minutes.
Yep, yeah, so we've got everything from those 30-minute classes, 45-minute classes to hour classes. We've also got aquatics classes. So if you do need something in the pool, we've got that for you as well.
They have bar and Zumba too.